March 21st, 2020. This is Sean Casilli, Bay Real Experts with Coldwell Realty in Panama City Beach, Florida. We're going to spend the next few days talking about architectural elements in a home that you should never touch during a renovation. The easy thing to do, and maybe a better word would be the ignorant thing to do, would be to start with a clean slate when you get a older home and just tear everything out, gut it, start from fresh. But if you're lucky enough to get one of these historic homes, or even a home that has some unique architectural details, or has some of these older home charms and historic flair, let's make sure that we don't get rid of a few things. The first one, the molding. Molding just has this traditional look that is so popular that a lot of new construction builders will include it. And the molding in particular gives the home character and warmth and feeling. And it's usually crafted from high quality materials that will stand the test of the time. So leave it. March 22nd, 2020. This is Sean Casilli, Bay Real Experts, Coldwell Banker Realty in Panama City Beach, Florida. Continuing with our theme this week of patch or pitch. You just got a new home, actually an older home, and you're thinking about doing a remodel. What do you pitch and what do you patch, or what do you just leave there that's already there? One thing I want to talk about today is exposed brick. Now, before you consider taking a sledgehammer to your exposed brick walls, consider the fact that many homeowners are actually stripping away their bland drywall to expose beautiful brick behind it, if they're lucky enough to have it there in the first place. It really is coming back right now. The exposed brick look with the wrought iron that is exposed in kitchens, open shelves, and open cabinetry. It really brings a texture and a rustic vibe to a space, and an architectural element that you just don't see in cookie cutter homes anymore. March 23rd, 2020. This is Sean Casilli, Bay Real Experts, Coldwell Banker Realty in Panama City Beach, Florida. You guys, before I jump back into Patch or Pitch Part 3, I want to say if you do end up stopping by my office, ask for me by name. There's about 60 of us there. And if you want to meet me, I would love to meet you. And let's get back to the podcast for today. If you're planning on doing a renovation on an older home that has some character and you're wondering if you should start from scratch or not, consider point number 3, columns, exterior trim, and siding. Now, I'm not talking about I hate to use the word cheap, but some of the dress up features that you can buy at your big box store, some plastic columns or anything to kind of dress up the exterior of the home. It's usually, I've seen it done with a poor DIY execution. But if these things already are in an older home that adds a lot of character to the exterior, consider keeping it, because a lot of times with these older homes or historic homes even, those features are pretty much impossible to replicate. And many times they, like a historical porch or the columns around the home, maybe even on the porch, could be the most notable feature of the entire home. March 24th, 2020. This is Sean Casilli, Bay Real Experts, Coldwell Banker Realty in Panama City Beach, Florida. Continuing in what we've been talking about all week, patch or pitch, or what do you leave alone when you're doing a renovation? Number 4, I want to talk about built-in bookcases and window seats. Yes, a lot of books are going the direction of, hey, like this podcast, it's all going digital, right? Some people do appreciate the tactile feeling of having a book to read, but more importantly than that, Built-in bookcases are highly functional, allowing you to decorate them and artfully arrange other objects as well as books. The other thing that I want to talk about is window seats. Now, if you haven't grown up in a home with one, I can tell you from showing property, when there is one of these built-in window seats, 9 times out of 10, the buyer will walk into the home and sit in that. It's one of those things that instantly makes you feel homey. And a lot of times people will gravitate towards that, and it's easier for them to visualize themselves living there. So if you're planning on taking one out for your own personal use, I hope you're staying there a very long time. Otherwise, if you're thinking about flipping the home or moving in a couple of years, consider leaving that window seat in, even if you plan to not use it yourself. March 25th, 2020. This is Sean Casilli, Bay Real Experts, Coldwell Banker Realty in Panama City Beach, Florida. On the topic that we've been covering all week, patch or pitch, or if you're going to do a remodel, what elements of the home do you want to keep? Not too many stained glass windows on the beach. However, one of my most favorite stained glass windows I have seen in my life was on the beach, Laguna Beach. There was a tiny little home, but it had a stained glass window with a sand dollar as the theme. And it was mostly turquoise, and it was so captivating. I absolutely loved that. I grew up around stained glass windows. I had a family friend that did that for a hobby / supplemental income, and she made some of the most beautiful pieces of work, and I'm very fond of them. However, it's not just me. If you go into an old home, it's pretty rare to find stained glass windows, hence the reason to consider keeping it. I know the natural inclination is to upgrade everything that is not energy efficient, but if there's a stained glass window there, consider keeping it, because it does add a feeling of peace to the environment. And and when you find one that is exceptional, that will be something that other buyers will find appealing to your home as well if you ever want to resell. March 26th, 2020. This is Sean Casilli, Bay Real Experts, Coldwell Banker Realty in Panama City Beach, Florida. On our topic this week of patch or pitch. If you have a home that you're planning to remodel, there have been 7 elements that we were going to discuss this week of things that you really shouldn't get rid of. Today, number 6, we're going to talk about fireplaces. And fireplaces used to be necessary in order to generate heat, but that doesn't mean they're obsolete. Now they can be used to generate interest in your home. I know with the hurricane, we saw a lot of chimneys that fell down, and it was cheaper to just eliminate the fireplace altogether, put the new roof on, and do something with the interior, or just put an insert in that's electronic into the fireplace area. However, fireplaces are always a great addition to a home, and older fireplaces, they come with rich and rare stones and have these details that you won't get on a modern, just a builder grade fireplace that's installed. So as a result, if you have one of these fireplaces with a lot of character, it creates a focal point when you walk into a room. And I will say that 80% of photos in a listing, let me see if I can rephrase this. Out of all the photos on a listing, the fireplace, living room, as long as it's staged properly, the living room or the shot of the fireplace always has more views on that photo on the listing than even the exterior or the exterior views. If it's waterfront, the fireplace always seems to get more attention, both on showings and online showings. March 27th, 2020. This is Sean Casilli, Bay Real Experts, Coldwell Banker Realty in Panama City Beach, Florida. The last episode in our series of Patch and Pitch. We're going to talk about item number 7, that if you have an older home or a historic home that you're planning to remodel, please do not pitch solid core or paneled doors or their hardware. The reason being is these older doors, they are nothing like the quality that you can get from a door or an insert door that you can pick up down the street at your big box home builder store. Old solid core doors, they also usually have metal door plates, hinges, and you just can't buy those anymore unless you're finding some antique shop or some specialty shop online and you're going to pay through the nose for it. The craftsmanship that is needed to make those things just doesn't exist anymore. And paneled interior doors with brass knobs and hinges may not be all the rage right now, but they're definitely worth keeping. It's hard to find. It's quite expensive when you can find them, so why not hang on to them? Fads change. So if it comes back around, you have them handy on standby. So to recap, the 7 deadly sins of remodeling would be to ditch the crown molding. Definitely don't want to ditch any molding in the house if it's in good condition and not rotted out. Exposed brick, keep it. Keep it. Columns, exterior trim, and siding, if it is of a high quality craftsmanship from an era where that was very important to builders. Built-in bookcases and window seats, must keep those. Do not get rid of them. Stained glass. It's always going to be a case by case. Your personal preference may weigh in, but if you're planning to resell, get the opinion of a local expert to see if that's a stained glass window that you should keep or get rid of. But the primary thing to focus on with those is that they are rare. So think twice before getting rid of one. Fireplaces. Even though you may not use it as wood burning, a lot of the older fireplaces have very high quality elements that were used in their construction, and they are a good focal point that draws interest to the room and to your listing. So highlight the fireplace on your next listing. Solid core and paneled doors. Very expensive, very rare, equals you should keep it. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's time to throw it away and put in a $100 big box store door. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this series. If you want to share this podcast, do so on your favorite platform. And if you would like to visit me in person, please ask for me by name. You can search for me as Bay Real Experts, Sean Casilli, Coldwell Banker Realty in Panama City Beach, Florida.